Thank you for joining me for another Quick Hits conversation. I'm Dr. Robyn. With me today, I have Sara Oblak Speicher, Tom Russo, and David Horsewood. And I want to ask the question, on social media, is it better to respond to an existing post or to take your idea and create a new post? Sara, can you kick us off?
I was laughing when you sent the topic over because that's exactly what I just did. Now, by no means, even though I've been living on social media literally for the past 10 years, I am no expert when it comes to marketing. I have no idea what the algorithm is doing these days. But what I appreciate about the topic is why not both? And I know the way that I operate, I am responding first and foremost. My natural thing is to respond. So inspiration a lot of time comes from seeing somebody comment on something and I'm like, okay, I can respond here. And then creative juices start flowing and I can create a whole new post. And then also by doing so, it simply allows different audiences to see it because we are moving and we're living so fast that by the time you saw this comment, you might not be seeing a post. You might see the post, but not the comment. And then you might be on Facebook, but not on LinkedIn. So why not all?
Yeah, I think there's certainly a place for pretty much anything you want to do on social media. If I go back, 10 years, give or take, when I first went on LinkedIn, there was this big push, you need to get at least 500 connections. And a lot of people just randomly sent out a lot of connections and that irritated a lot of people. I got the idea to just start commenting on influencers' posts. And I would try to be one of the first to comment. And I wouldn't just say, hey, I like that or whatever. I would try to further the conversation with some kind of unique insight. And it turned out, patting myself on the back, I was pretty good at making comments other people liked. So they would like, and then once they liked, I would send them an invitation, thanking them for liking my comment. And that's how I went from basically no connections to over 500, and I have almost 4,000 now. I don't even try to add new people now unless it's for a purpose. But back then, I just really wanted the 500. But that goes to, I think the main reason to comment on someone else's post rather than generate your own is you get in front of new people. Your people already know you. So if all you're doing is sending stuff that only your people see, then new people don't get to know you. So I think that's one of the main reasons to post on other people's stuff.
Interesting. Tom?
Well, I know I'm the new kid on the block, but I feel bad because David's already offended me because I used to be one of those people stalking people on LinkedIn. So now I don't know what to say now, but no, I'm kidding. But I would go in the direction of taking own ideas and creating posts of your own. I think a lot of what I see on social is kind of, I hate to say it this way, but kind of regurgitated and passed around. And when I look at posts and somebody makes a point that, makes me stop and think about life or positivity or career or relationships, I really give them a lot of credit for taking a leap of faith and putting something out there that hasn't already been done. So I would tend to lean, and we all do it. We respond, we share, we comment, but when somebody takes the time to put out their own ideas and create something on their own, I tend to give that a little bit more credence.
Yeah, and I like your point, Sara, is it can be all and both, all of them, because you can comment, like to your point, David, comment on somebody else's thing so that you get a different audience and different people. And I love the idea of going back and saying, hey, I noticed that you like this, would love to have more conversation with you. I connect with people like that who like or comment on quick hits. I'll often reach out and say, hey, I noticed that you comment on this quick hit. I would love to connect if you're interested. So that great strategy. I think it works really well for marketing. And I like the idea of then taking that idea, whatever it was that you got from someone else's post, and creating your own. The one caveat I have to that, and I have had people do this with my stuff, is don't copy my stuff and then post it like it's your own. And because I had someone do that and I went and commented on it, like sometimes I'll just be like, oh, well, that looks really familiar, and see if they kind of realize, hey, you just plagiarized. But I had one person where I said, you can't really just take stuff and not quote where you got it from. He's like, well, I don't know where this quote came from. And I was like, yeah, you do. You just liked my thing. I saw you do it. And it turned into this whole big ugly conversation, and he ended up blocking me. And I'm like, wait.
Yeah, it can get pretty wild out there. Or once you start noticing clusters or cohorts, or however you want to call it, communities, you can also start seeing trends, and you can trace it down to the one person that started the specific conversation and how it spreads out, the same topics, the same opinions, and it can be very time consuming to sift through everything. It can be very engaging and productive if you do it for the right reasons, I think.
You all find that there's a difference based on the platform itself? I'm just curious, since you're all experts beyond my capabilities in this field. And I'm just curious, is there a rule of thumb that's different on an Instagram versus Facebook or LinkedIn?
I don't think there's any set best practice, if you will. It all depends on what your purpose for being on social media is, or any of the various platforms of social media. There's a purpose that should drive what your behavior is. So if you're trying to expand your audience, you do one kind of thing. If you're trying to establish yourself as an expert, you do another kind of thing. If you're just on for fun, you do another kind of thing. So it all boils down to your purpose, and then there'll be various strategies or techniques or best practices depending on your purpose.
Do you find that when you're on social media, so no, there are no new ideas, right? But if someone inspires you, at what point is it I should tag this person and say, hey, this was an inspiration from so-and-so? And at what point is it, this is just my new idea based on the information I've gathered and this person happened to, bring it together?
Yeah, I personally like to give credit if only I can. But I have noticed something very interesting. And there was an interview that I did, and I tagged the person who inspired the idea months ago that ended up being included in this interview. And I tagged them, all of a sudden it's like a ghost town. So it was almost like the algorithm that day did not like the fact that somebody else was tagged in a post. It was almost seemed like spamming.
Wow.
So like, oh well.
Oh, that's interesting. Because yesterday I was tagged in a post where someone posted something, a kind of a sales post. And then at the bottom, he tagged like 40 people, of which I was one. And I'm like, okay, well, that's an interesting, because I've thought that tagging people, because I do it for quick hits, like I'll tag all of you to say, hey, I posted this, you're in it, here you go, you can share it or whatever. So I thought that tagging was supposed to be good for the algorithm.
Have no idea.
Yeah. So back to the question, where is that line between, hey, you inspired me, I should tag you, and this is my new idea, I don't need to tag somebody? What do you think?
I don't have a strong opinion on that. I always believe in giving credit for any idea that I have that I know I got from someone else. So I'll say that, like in a video. If I'm on video right now and I'm quoting someone, I'll say the person I'm quoting. I'll share the name. I would probably not tag them in the video that I posted, but I might send them a behind the scenes email. Hey, I just wanted you to know I posted a video today where I referenced you, but I don't tag them because I don't know for sure that they'd want to be tagged. But it's kind of like if you do a research paper in the academic world, you don't have to send notices to everybody that you quote in your research paper. Quoting them in your research paper is enough. That's giving the credit that they deserve.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And, putting my professor hat on, I appreciate David's comment about how, depending on the type of paper, people are, referencing and commenting. And I think that's correct. I think if you can reach out to people offline and give them some sort of credit, I think that's appropriate. I think at some point we're all, I've noticed that the posts that seem to get the most interesting reactions, at least in my experience, are the ones that are heartfelt and show some vulnerability and authenticity, because a lot of what we see, can be kind of fluffy and not really relevant. But when people, peel away the layer of their life and show some vulnerability and show some authenticity, I think those are the things that really open up conversations on social media that are more meaningful for people in this day and age.
So are we saying that there is no, back to our question at the top, there's really no right answer of should you respond to a topic on somebody else's post or should you create your own? It can be yes and or whatever you feel like is best in the moment. And to your point, David, what your purpose is, what you're trying to accomplish, is that kind of where we're kind of wrapping things up to?
Yes.
I would say it mostly, if you're looking for a right, wrong answer, boils down to purpose. And I think a lot of people make a mistake of not purposefully being on social media. And they wind up making mistakes because they're forgetting why they're there. And the fact that they could help their career or really hurt their career by not being purposeful with what they're doing online.
Wonderful. That's a great place for us to end it. And that is our 10 minutes. So I'm going to cut us off there. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing each of you again very soon.